Hello, good day viewers. My name is Victor Ogunyika. You're welcome again to Tribune Online TV. There's no way we are going to talk about Nigeria and how Nigeria will continue to make the news in global sense without talking about sports. And today we're not going to be talking about football. I have a very interesting personality today here with us. She's an athlete. Of course, if you're an athlete, you would always be an athlete. One of the best Nigeria has ever produced in the games of athletics. And of course, I have Mrs. Mary Onyali, MFR OLY. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Let me start from OLY. OLY is what?
OLY is the acronym that's just been added to all Olympians worldwide. Okay. If you're an Olympian and you've ever attended the Olympic Games and participated, okay, you are entitled to use the acronym OLY, meaning I'm an Olympian. Oh, so
that is the way we know you from every other sports person.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Let us talk about athletics in Nigeria. It is not what it used to be. Do you agree? Why did we have a curve from your era? There's no connect from when you left the scene and other persons. There's no connect. What happened?
Well, I tried the best I could to educate the general public. 2-3 years before my retirement in 2004, I kept begging and preaching to anyone that would listen, from the media to the government, that there is nobody in sight that will take over from me when I retire. Why don't we go back to the drawing board if we still have anything like that?
What was the drawing board to you?
The drawing board to me at the time was national festivals.
Okay.
Grassroots development, primary and secondary school. There is no day during my primary school era and secondary school that we don't have at least 2 hours recreational time for us.
Do you think it's no longer in school, or it is no longer as productive as it used to be?
I had to preach for it for a while before they brought it back.
Okay.
But even after they brought it back, it's not as effective, because most schools these days are in a 4 or 5 story building apartment.
Without any playground.
There is no playground for the kids. Children are developed both mentally and physically. Physically through sports, and mentally through academics. Okay. Both must go hand in hand.
Of course.
The myth that we used to have in the past in the Nigerian and African nation is if you're a student athlete, you are Olodo. You don't know anything. But that's completely different. How come I went to school, I graduated in the US for that matter, got a scholarship paid for by the US government, came back home, and now trying to look for another Mary Onyali somewhere in the woodworks?
Do you think you are just one of the many persons? Maybe you are just lucky it came that way.
No. Okay. Let me take you back to the mid-80s and 90s during my era. Do you know that 97% of our athletes at the time, the Innocents, the Falilas, the Chiomas, were all, except for Chioma, we were all schooled in the US. We're all on US 4 years academic and sports scholarship. That is the trend that we missed. That I'm bringing back, myself and 10 other ex-internationals from different sports. When we saw the dwindling part of sports in Nigeria, we gathered ourselves together. We said we need to put a stop to this dwindling factor in sports. Let's bring back what we used to do during the mid-80s and 90s, how we represented the country at various international competitions without having to cry for a bronze medal and celebrate a bronze medal as if
it's a gold.
It's gold, one, and 200 plus million Nigerians begging God for one medal. No.
That's a shame.
We need to bring our glorious day back. So 11 of us started 11 years ago to say enough of this.
Okay, but let me ask you, you've not been in the corridors of power, you've not been in administration. It's quite difficult for you to achieve some of these things when you just want to be an independent voice. Of course, I know you said you are 11, but it's still independent. How do you expect to achieve all this?
Nope, I take it back. I was a senior special assistant on technical matters to Honorable Elegbele when he was the Director General of the National Sports Commission. Although our stay was very short, but during that period, I learned so much. I was able to see Nigeria, Nigerian sports from a different perspective. And that's actually my first job since I returned back to Nigeria. Now, 11 of us coming together to put this together are all experts in our different fields. I don't see any reason why there is a difference between private sector driven sports development and the government sector driven sports development. Note, nowhere in the world has sports ever been funded completely by government. Not even in the US where I studied. It's all private sector driven. The Exxons, the Toyota, the McDonald's, the different supermarkets, they all come together to fund sports in the US. Government's job is to build infrastructures where these athletes can go and showcase their talent, discover themselves.
Okay, but in Africa, our sports have actually been built around the government sponsorship from the beginning. Am I correct?
We need to stop it.
Okay.
That's why we're here. We need to put an end to it because it's not taking us anywhere. It's actually taking us two steps forwards and 10 backwards. Why can't we bring back what works in the different areas where we practice our sports during our heydays? And that's the reason why we're doing this. Yes, we're private funded, but it's actually better that way because we understand the mindset of the athletes. We understand what sports development is all about. That's why we went under the umbrella of Nigeria Sports Development Fund Incorporated to create the grassroots aspect of it, which we call BOOST, Basic Olive Opportunity Sports Training. In this department, we teach young kids in primary and secondary school, just like I was taught, how to practice whatever sport you're interested in technically right, because you can't teach an old dog a new trick. By the time they get into university, which is where, when and where we are discovering them, sometimes they left university, we now discover them, they've already acquired bad techniques in whatever sport.
Okay, let me take you back to the track. You've had some very challenging moments, you know.
And that was my first and only injury. And right after that, my sport started taking a downward trend.
Maybe age was, you know.
Age was also creeping in because I gave my all in Atlanta 96.
Of course, it was there for everybody to see. I actually want to ask you, you know, it is turning to be even more difficult for us to get something out of sport, and that is why people have started using help. You know, you see this person using what drug, and in the end there's doping. What do you have to say about this, especially in Africa? Usain Bolt came and he raised the bar so high, you know, so how do we talk about athletics and not talk about drugs?
Drug has been in sports and will be in sports till thy kingdom come. Athletes all over the world, Nigeria and beyond, always look for a fast way or fast track of getting to the podium. Yes, you may get there quickly, but you will also come down just as quick because the IOC and WADA are all wired up for anybody trying to use a shortcut to get into the podium. They will strip your medal off, they save your blood in the bank, they save your urine and retest it 10 years later and strip you the medal. So be wise.
Okay, let's talk about family. Is it easy, or how have you been able to manage both ends?
Wow, it's tough. Tough. The same way it was tough for me going to school, getting my degree. Same also when I finished university, was also tough to add family to it. Years and hours of months and weeks of being away from your family, it takes a toll on you. But if you have a family that is supportive, that understands what you're doing, especially when you're married to a sports person, it helps a lot. And in my case, it worked for me.
Okay, now let us come back to you came all the way from the United States to pursue a course here in Nigeria. Do you want to say something about the foundation and how you intend to return Nigeria back to the podium, not just the track?
That's the essence of why I'm here.
Okay, you just tell us about it.
3 years ago, I had to come back and I made a full circle. Mr. Olajide Fashiku, the CEO and the Director General of NSDFI, and the project we're doing right now, was struggling really hard, trying to push this project by himself. So he pleaded and pleaded on me to come and help drive it. And after I had to succumb because it's my sport. So I became the face of the NSDFI on the sports development project. So what we're doing right now is we're moving around the nation from one state to the other, campaigning for 4.5 million Nigerians to please give us 200 naira. 200 naira donated to our fund, to our elite athlete fund, to help 90 athletes prepare properly for Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Our preparation, like you know, has always been rushed, shabby. 3 months, we start scouting around for money, and when it comes late or don't come enough. So we being there, done that, we know it takes 4 to 6 years to prepare an athlete to get on the podium.
So we are just 2 years
We
away
are
from 2020.
in the middle of 2 years to Tokyo 2020, but no, Nigerians are very resilient. They are very, very tough mentally. If you give these 90 athletes that we know are on the verge, on the edge of making Tokyo 2020 medals, if you give them 1 year with proper funding, they will make it.
Okay,
10 million naira is all
how far have you gone? 90 athletes, 4.5 million people, 200 naira.
We just started.
Okay.
We just started. The Minister of Sports launched this project on the 3rd of this month.
Okay.
And we've taken the tour from Abuja to Ilorin and then here. Next stop is Lagos. So we're preaching to everybody. Give us 200 naira. Between now and the end of November, we'll give these athletes 10 million naira each. That is more than sufficient for you to attend Tokyo 2020 medals.
Okay, how about looking at, you mentioned private sector the other time.
Yes.
You know, is this the private sector we're talking about now?
I am private sector.
Okay.
The project the umbrella we're running under is private sector.
Okay.
And we're also preaching to all corporate organizations to help out.
Okay. I really wish we can just go on and on like that, but of course time will not permit us to do this. It's been very, very wonderful to see that we still have the likes of a legend, you know, coming out to pursue, to ensure that Nigeria return to the podium, not just the track. Okay, it's very, very wonderful having you here, and we really want to wish you the best of luck in achieving all that you have to. Of course, you've heard it, 200 naira, 4.5 million Nigerians. It is very, very achievable. Thank you, and keep watching Nigerian Tribune Online TV.